From conception to 12 weeks, you are startlingly aware. Now, if we didn't have these really quick dipsticks that tell us that we're pregnant, you might not have been aware. In fact, when I got pregnant in 1969, we didn't have those. You actually had to have a blood test, and a rabbit had to be given your blood, and then they had to kill the rabbit. So then we started to have urine tests when I got pregnant again in the 80s. So you now have very quick pregnancy identifying capabilities. But prior to that, women were very confused as to whether they were pregnant. Sometimes we skipped a period, sometimes we didn't. You may skip a period or you may not. Your breasts begin to change, but you aren't quite certain what that means. They get more tender, but they don't really change the way they will throughout pregnancy. You begin to feel more bloated. Is that bloated? Well, no, it's really the uterus beginning to grow and the baby beginning to develop, but you don't really know what that means. Your moods might swing. All sorts of changes happen from conception to 12 weeks. But if you didn't have that little dipstick, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't be certain. Am I pregnant or am I not? But at a certain time, somewhere around 12 weeks, it becomes apparent. And partly it becomes apparent because we can begin to feel the top of our uterus above our pubic bone. It's very hard, by the way, to Google this information as illustrations. It's something we have to explain to one another. And what the Birthing Better resources that we have as a trust, common knowledge, explains all of this because we as mothers and fathers develop the skills in birthing better. And these pregnancy academies are an extension of our birthing better skills. So the uterus just peeks up over the pubic bone. And the pubic bone is tilted this way. But we have to go back over the pubic bone to feel the shape of the uterus. And it just sort of feels like the top of almost like a softball. Because prior to that, from conception to 12 weeks, that uterus was growing inside this bony pelvis that when you begin to prepare for birth becomes very important because your baby then has to come back down through that bony pelvis. By 24 weeks, the uterus is at your navel. So from 12 to 24 weeks, your awareness shifts from where's the uterus to, oh, there it is. But it also shifts from you can't feel the baby between conception and 12 weeks. You can't feel the baby move at 12 weeks. If you've had a baby before, sometime around 18 weeks, you can be able to feel a slight intermittent flutter that you're not certain is the baby. By 24 weeks, that becomes clearer. So your awareness changes significantly over the next 12 weeks, from 12 to 24 weeks, than it was between conception and 12 weeks, which your awareness was more focused on the changes in you and how you were feeling.